Welcome back to 1010's podcast. I am your host, Robert Briot, and I have Adam, and we are doing a normal show, not an interview, even though it feels normal-ish. It feels like an interview because that's all we've been doing, and I've switched to Zoom because we were doing Skype, but I think this is better because you can see me and I can see you, and you can see me.
Yeah, I can see you, which is nice.
You can see me touching Flatum.
Hey, whoa. Looking's for free, but touching's going to cost you.
Yeah, well, it's my basement, my rules.
Fair enough.
But anyways, man, how have you been? It's been a little bit since we've talked.
Just trying to decide whether or not I was dying from the Rona or dealing with allergies. It's been a mess.
Was it both?
Well, so long story short, I felt fine most of last week after we recorded.
Yeah.
But then I woke up Friday and felt really shitty and my throat really hurt, and just like walking around the house getting ready for the day, I was like running out of breath, and I was like, oh fuck, here we go. Right. Like this is it. And I called in and I told my boss, I'm like, dude, I'm kind of starting, I still don't have a fever or anything, but I'm kind of starting to show some weird symptoms. Like I think I was supposed to go to a meat packing plant that day.
Oh, great.
So I was like, I'll just stay home. And I'll see if I can get tested, because they opened up this Test Iowa thing. They were supposed to make it so anybody could come and get a test, right? And it was going to be great. Well, since anybody can get a test, that means that everybody's getting a test, and that means there's no available appointment slots. And so I still never got a test. And then I woke up Saturday morning and I felt fine. And so I just decided, well, I'm probably not dying of the Rona, and that was about it.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't the Rona.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with I don't know, man. Allergies have been weird this year. I don't know. It's hard to say. Nobody knows, that's the hardest part about all this.
Right.
And no matter what I do, it's probably a little bit wrong.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, I can tell you it's better than what the state of Missouri is doing. Went to the Lake of the Ozarks this weekend just to go straight to my in-laws and then straight home. And it's just like we're sitting there, and my brother-in-law shows me this video of like the bar down the street, and it's packed like a Vegas like pool swim up bar. And like not an hour later, the shit's all over CNN of like what not to do. So yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, we didn't see, or we didn't go talk to anybody, but that was definitely not the way to go about it, in my opinion. But whatever.
Yeah, we just stayed home all weekend and kind of hung low and tried to stay out of whatever it is that we're trying to stay out of. So
yep, just stay away from people, and I've been really good at that for my whole life. So
yeah, it's kind of a thing I'm not too upset about.
No.
So.
Yeah, besides not getting to go to the few things I wanted to go to, the rest has just been normal.
Right.
How has this affected you? Well, I skipped a couple of race events I would have gone to. Other than that, my life hasn't changed at all, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyways,
so, should we dive into the opener?
Let's do our opener. Presented by Factor Fabrication for all your fabrication needs.
So it's been a little while since we've done a listicle. And I came across one that I think applies to us, if you will. Car and Driver put out this: every new car you can still buy with a manual transmission.
Was there like 7 of them?
It's a little bit longer list than you thought, but at the same time, it's not that long of a list. But there's a couple of like, okay, yeah, obviously that's on here. And there's a couple like, whoa, okay, didn't see that one coming. So it's kind of an interesting list. So,
okay.
As always, we can just kind of skip through this, talk about what we want to talk about, and not talk about what we don't. So,
sure.
First thing on here, the BMW 2 Series, which I think falls under the duh category.
Yeah, of course that car has a manual transmission.
Right.
We would all be offended if it didn't.
Yeah, the M2 is probably one of the cooler cars that BMW currently makes.
I would agree. I really like that car.
Yeah, and obviously it should and does have a manual, so there's really not much to say about that one. 4 Series, again, duh.
Mm-hmm.
No
surprise that a BMW has a manual.
Well, okay.
Well, the coupe, anyways.
Yeah. They don't list 3 Series in here, so I don't know if that means that they're just lumping the 3 and the 4 Series together.
No, BMW dropped the stick shift from the new...
it does say right there, doesn't it? BMW has dropped the stick shift from the new 3 Series, but the outgoing 4 Series still offers it in some configurations.
I learned something.
All right, well, there you go.
Yeah, how about that?
So I guess that means that this one's not long for this list, but it's still here.
Yep.
So the Chevy Camaro.
Hell yeah.
Which I think just up until recently, if you were buying the performance packages, the 1LEs could only be got in a manual, although I think they've added the automatic transmission option somewhat recently.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't sell it with it, but I'm glad.
For a while they weren't. For a while you could only get it as a manual, and So, but any of the 1LEs can still be had with manuals. I'm assuming the base models probably can too.
I would bet so. I've never looked, but I'm assuming so.
I was going to ask Dalton about this because he has a V6 1LE that he uses as a daily driver, and the 1LEs have rev matching. And I don't know that I know. I've never talked to anybody who has a car that has rev matching,
like the auto blip.
Yeah, it auto blips.
From the factory?
From the factory.
Hot damn.
And so, does it do that when you're just driving down the road?
It has to.
Coming up to a stoplight, is it going, making you sound like an idiot to people who don't know what's going on, and a weirdo to people who are like, is that guy really heel towing coming down to this stop sign?
Oh, aggressive too.
Probably.
Yeah, it has to.
So... Yeah,
no, the guy.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious how well it works in general.
I know. I guess
sometimes factory things either they really nail it or they really don't.
The guy I was talking to, I don't know what level. It was like the track edition, whatever Camaro at the Dyno Day that we did back in forever ago. Yeah. He was super high on it. He was really excited about it, telling me all about his auto blip. And it never occurred to me that would have came from the factory. So, I mean,
it's a stock option.
For how pumped he was about it, I would imagine it works pretty well.
I just think it's hilarious that, you can buy from Chevy, you can buy a turbocharged 4-cylinder Camaro that has all these performance packages, and it auto blips when you're downshifting, and it does all these things. It's just such a weird car to exist.
It really is. That would
as a Camaro.
That would explain why it's so effing fast on the track, though.
It's so cheap for how fast it is.
It's set up so well. And I'm not a huge Camaro fan, but
I mean, if you're willing to look around long enough, you can find them sub $25,000, brand new, sitting on dealer lots without that much work.
Yeah, they're everywhere, man.
I mean, if you're going to pay, that far below MSRP, below sticker, you're not going to get the 0% for 84 months deals and stuff like that. But man, it's a cheap car for what you get.
Yeah, it's a hell of a value,
even with the 4-cylinder. So, up next, following it, is Big Brother, the Vet.
File that under duh.
Although it's just the C7.
Oh,
yes, we can still buy C7s.
That's right.
But the C8 does not have it.
That will change.
I saw my first C8 in the wild this weekend.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I didn't get that close to it, and I didn't see it very long. And it was just, going by in the opposite direction, and I just barely caught a glimpse of it. But so I really don't. I can't say.
No. I wasn't sure if you had
there it was.
Wasn't sure if you had an unpopular opinion like me or not.
No, I haven't got to see it close enough to have formed any opinions. No. You're not in?
No, I am. I'm not as high on it as I am the C7.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I just really like the C7, and then I felt like the C8 was just too similar to every other mid-engine sports car. Yeah. It's a great car. Fair. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on it. I'm just, for some reason, I'm just not high on it. Like I was expecting.
It's another like performance bargain for the.
It's a hell of a
for the, the tier of car that it's trying to compete with.
Yeah, for like a third of the price, it's just as fast as anything else.
Yeah. So pretty impressive. I am excited to see where that's going to go because I've seen all kinds from like 1,000 horsepower hybrid cars, all kinds of crazy. This is what they're building stuff. I'm interested to see what actually happens, but yeah, should be an interesting thing to watch
for sure.
Up next, still in the Chevy line, but decidedly less performance oriented, the Chevy Spark.
All economy cars should come with manual transmissions. That's what everyone should learn to drive on.
For the longest time, manual transmissions had better mile per gallon ratings.
Yes.
That's not really the case anymore because they've got these wild 10-speed transmissions and much better shift algorithm or, shift patterns or whatever you want to call them. And, they figured that out, and that's really not the case anymore. But for a long time, that was the norm, was to have your entry-level shit boxes have manuals because they were better gas mileage vehicles.
Right.
That way.
I mean, like all the cheap Saturns were that way. I mean,
they were also cheaper to manufacture.
Yeah, they're just gears.
You don't need the computer that runs it and all that stuff. And you don't have to have a witch doctor come and bless each transmission so that it does its voodoo correctly. And you know how
hard it is to find leprechauns and witches to put in transmissions.
I'm sure they're getting harder and harder to find.
It's easier to get oil,
right?
And precious metals. That's why batteries are taken off. It's because you can get precious metals. You can't get leprechauns.
Oh, I think we found something there, Robbie.
It's a conspiracy, man.
There you go. Jesus Christ. Someone's going to be like, yep.
Of course.
With that.
That makes perfect sense. Of course, that's why electric's taken off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's funny. Next up, the Dodge Challenger.
Yep.
You can't get it in the entry ones.
That's just auto. They don't sell a lot of those, do they? You don't see them as often. Like I swear, I see more. Not in the
Challenger spec. In the Charger spec, sure.
I swear, I see way more like red eyes and Hellcats and wide bodies than I do the actual base.
So the red eye is also not available in a manual.
That's right. I actually did know that.
That's an automatic only car as well.
But the drag race guys want the autos, and that's a drag race car.
True.
Again, that's really foreign to me, but I mean, I get it. If it's faster, then that's what you want. You want the faster transmission. But yeah,
it's not all, or it's not 100%. It's not as well. I mean, it is modern day transmissions. It is about being faster, but way back in the day, again,
right.
It wasn't so much about being faster because they probably weren't that much faster, if faster at all, than a manually shifted car, but they were consistent.
Oh,
they always shift at the exact same RPM every single time. The engagement is the same every single time. And when you're bracket racing, consistency is key. Being able to have repeatable passes race after race after race so you can guess how fast you're going to go and not screw that up. That was the big selling point on the automatic for drag racers for a long time.
I can see that then. That makes sense.
Newer transmissions that, the speed thing has definitely come into play as well, but a Power Glide is not a fast shifting transmission by any stretch of the imagination. So
no, it is not.
Yeah, it was as much about consistency as it was speed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Challenger. I mean, it'd be weird without it.
It really would.
As a manual, but apparently they don't make any Chargers as manuals because it's not on the list.
No, I didn't think they did.
If you can get a Challenger Hellcat with a manual, why can't I get a Charger Hellcat with a manual?
You'd think it'd be that easy. It's like
It should be that easy.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah. From the transmission forward, it's the same. Sure, I might need a different drive shaft, but that's a drive shaft.
Yeah, that's super easy. You just walk in with a tape measure to the drive shaft shop and say, all right, I need to go from here to here, and it's this long. And they have you a drive shaft in 37 minutes. It's crazy.
Right. So I'm sure that's a SEMA thing, swapping them out.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
You'd think it'd be...
go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it'd be a pretty easy swap.
Yeah, I don't know how much those platforms share from like a shell aspect, like if the pedal box will swap over and simple things like that, or if it's more involved.
See, I thought they had a lot of shared architecture, but
I'm not sure.
Someone's going to tell me that I'm way off base and wrong, but I always thought they did. More than you would expect.
Yeah, possibly.
I could be wrong. That's fine.
Probably, yeah. So, Fiat 124 Spider, a car that I think doesn't get enough love.
No, it does not. It is.
I think it's better looking than its Miata brethren. It's turbocharged, which means it's better.
Has more things to break.
That's fair, but it's got a warranty. It's fine.
It's Italian, so they took all of the wiring harness from Japan out and replaced it with brown wires.
That's probably true. It's probably true. They probably managed. It was like, oh, that's a really good idea. Buy a Japanese built car. Like this should be good. But I'm sure they managed to mess it up.
Yeah, I bet there's some really weird shit. Like if you would just put them side by side, Miata, Fiat 124, and go, okay, what's the difference? You'd have a list of just like the most obscure, stupid things that the Miata doesn't have.
Yeah, I'm sure there's little things that are just annoying enough.
But it is way better looking.
I like it better. They're way less popular.
Which is strange to me.
I've seen a few here and there, but there's just not very many of them. I don't know like if there's a remarkable price difference.
I don't know if the word remarkable would describe it, but there's definitely a difference. I mean, I know the Fiat's more expensive, but
and I don't think that it's significantly faster, despite being the turbocharged car. Now, if we started modifying it, it's probably its limits are probably higher for less.
Yeah, probably.
Modern day naturally aspirated engines, there's only so much you can do before you're going to really start shoveling money into them.
True, very true.
Whereas, modern day boosted engines, you just
turn the boost up a little bit. Yeah.
Turn up the boost, put some E85 in there, and you're making another 100 wheel.
And that's a lot in a little Fiat.
Yeah, exactly. So, the Ford Mustang.
Yep. That's a really weird picture. Is that the newest one?
There's something weird about this one, isn't there?
There's something weird.
I think it's a Bullet because it's green. And I think that
is it green or black?
A special grill. That's green, right?
No, it's black.
Nah, dude, it's green.
Is that midnight green?
It's dark green.
You're right. It's green. Hold on, let me turn my brightness up. That's green.
I think it's a Bullet.
I turn my brightness up.
I think it's a Bullet.
I don't like it.
Oh, if you hover over the picture, there's a little thing that pops up. It says 2019 Ford Mustang Bullet.
Now that you mention it.
There you go.
I
like the grill setup on there better than the regular Mustangs.
It just looks, the whole car looks fatter. Like you know what I mean? Like it put on weight.
Yeah, maybe.
But you can get it in a manual.
Yep.
And they sound great.
You can't get the GT500
with
a manual, which is absolutely soul crushing.
You would think
it's only available in a 7-speed dual clutch transmission.
Oh, I guess it is dual clutch, so that helps.
The GT350 is the highest performance manual one you can get.
That is a pretty lightning fast car.
So it says GT350, doesn't say GT350R.
Is that just a typo, do you suppose?
Or did they just lump the two together?
Yeah.
Or is the R not available in a manual?
I don't know.
That would be also sad.
That has to be a manual. Has to.
But it's a lap time car.
Yeah. And if you got the dual clutch and the performance everything else, they might have gone that direction.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Not if they're chasing lap times at the Nürburgring. That's all they care about.
Yeah. Well, that's the sad world we live in, Robbie.
I know. Everything's sad all the time.
Yeah, that's true. A quick Google here. Not helpful.
Not helpful. Okay.
If that's a surprise to anybody. My Google foo is not the highest.
And I have too much shit running, and I'm just on my laptop still.
Oh, no. GT350R. Tremec 6-speed manual transmission.
All right.
Comes standard on the GT350 and Shelby GT350Rs.
Perfect. Is that the same?
All is well with the world.
Is that the same Tremec that's in the Camaros? Is that still a thing? Like the T56, it was between the Viper and the Mustang, and
it's a TR3160.
That's I don't know. That's not a common swap yet. I don't know that one.
It's a TR3160. That's all I know. So, next up, this is one that I was really taken aback by. The Genesis G70.
They do not.
Apparently they do.
They don't. You're lying.
So this is the one that Michael has.
He has the G70?
I think his is a G70.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Sure. His is very nice. Also,
it only comes as a manual if you buy the 2-liter turbo rear-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive and V6 models are only automatic.
Oh.
And the G90 and the G80s do not get the manuals, including the G80 Sport. But still, you can buy a luxury packaged Genesis with a manual from Hyundai, which is very shocking to me.
There's got to be like 3 in the world.
I'm sure this is a very limited run of car because I'll bet nobody's bought it. But it's a very interesting...
I bet you had to order it.
Situation. Oh, for sure. There's no way you didn't just have to order that flat out.
That could be like the rarest setup and most valued in 20 years.
No,
I got the Genesis G70 with a manual. There's 13 left in existence.
I suppose that might be a bring a trailer baby in 20 or 25 years, I suppose. You're probably right.
Yep.
If we're still allowed to drive cars ourselves with petrol engines in them, that'll be a bring a trailer baby.
It'll be a collector's item.
Yeah, somebody out there will collect it.
It'll be a Jalopnik thing 20 years from now.
Yeah, do they come in brown?
No. God, I hope not.
Gosh,
I bet they have like a off orange that looks brown.
Here's an unpopular opinion from a few weeks ago. Brown cars are not good looking.
They're not good looking.
I don't understand why people are so smitten with brown.
Unless it's like leather shoes, brown sucks.
I've never understood that. But there's a lot of people that are like, brown car is life, man.
No, every once in a while.
Usually they don't drive brown cars, but they talk about how much they love brown cars.
Oh, and a brown station wagon? Oh my gosh. They lose their minds.
Manual diesel brown station wagon? It's Jalopnik wet dream.
Every once in a while I'll see a brown leather interior, like a saddle leather or like a real
like a dark brown.
Yeah, every once in a while, and then for some reason it works. And then other times it looks like complete dog shit.
Yeah.
And it could be almost the exact same car, and for some reason it looks really good in one and really shitty in the other. And I can't explain it, but every once in a while it looks good.
Probably it has as much to do with the accent trim colors.
For sure.
And whether they work with the saddle leather or not.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole car has to be tied together with that brown interior.
Yeah.
You can't just throw it on some random car.
No. So, up next, the Honda Accord, which I was a little bit surprised by. I assumed that you could get a Civic in that spec, but an Accord I was a little bit surprised by.
I knew they used to. I didn't know if they still did. I'm surprised
the 6-speed manual is available on the mid-range sport trim with either the turbocharged 1.5 or the 2-liter inline 4 as a no-cost option.
Then it should be the option. You should get it.
So I assume that means that just as God intended, the automatic transmission costs you more money.
That's how it should be. I bet Honda still has it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just because of the numbers that are produced, there were a lot of cars that kind of swayed the other direction, and buying the manual is more expensive because they don't make as many.
Right.
So, but Honda's still sticking with it. They still get it.
They're true to their roots, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Speaking of Honda, the Civic up next, of course.
No surprise there. They've had manuals since the beginning.
Once again, you just get it in the Sport and the SI packages. Did
I lose you?
Or wait, you can order. Sorry, you can order a Civic sedan or coupe with a 6-speed in either the Sport or SI guise, or you can get a row-it-yourself gearbox in the hatchback Civic, Sport Touring, and Type R. So if you want a sedan or a coupe, you only get it in the Sport and the SI. If you want it in the hatchback, you can get it in the Sport Touring, and the Type R.
How many types are there? That should cover almost all of them.
Well, because it's not listed in the hatchback list, I kind of think maybe you can't get an SI as a hatchback. You can only get it as a sedan or a coupe. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So, continuing with Honda, the Fit.
Hell yeah.
Which I thought I'm kind of surprised they still make, I guess. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't,
Well,
but
I bet it costs them like $13 to make, and they make some money on it, and people buy them. And they're like $13,000 brand new.
So, apparently Honda has recently revealed an all-new Fit with a hybrid, and jury's still out on whether or not we'll even ever see it.
Oh.
Because, America hates subcompacts. So
That's a really weird looking Fit, though, in this picture.
The new ones are not as good looking as the old ones.
No, it looks like a minivan.
They've gotten
really
bigger,
bad,
and they stretched out a ways, and they don't look.
They look like the Sienna.
Yeah, it does kind of look
way too much,
like a 2/3 scale minivan.
Yep.
When you don't have any size reference, it doesn't work well.
No, not at all. The other ones. Yeah, the older ones were better.
Yeah, they're kind of cool looking in like the quirky way. The new ones just aren't good.
No, they're way minivan leaning in a bad way.
No surprise there.
But you can get it in a manual, so it's redeemed itself.
Next up, back to Hyundai and their line of cars, the Accent.
That's their economy car, right?
Yeah, I assume this is
cheaper car.
Yes, one of the cheapest new cars on the market this side of the Nissan Versa and aforementioned Chevy Spark. The Accent comes standard with 6 cogs and 3 pedals. The moment you step up from the base to the mid-level or top limited trim, you're stuck with a CVT.
So you only have one option, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, that option is a Veloster.
That's not an option.
Which I assume is probably the next one. Oh, no. Hyundai Elantra GT. Which kind of looks like a...
It's like it wants to be a Mazda... What was that, Mazda Speed?
Yeah, Mazda 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
They don't make a Speed anymore.
My bad.
It's also... looks just like a 4-door Veloster. Which means that you would like it better than the Veloster because it doesn't have your...
No, wrong. You need to get rid of one door, not add one.
Okay, fine, but at least the doors are symmetrical.
The doors need to be symmetrical. What a stupid way to design a car.
It's actually really intelligent in my mind.
No, it's horrible.
Why?
The Veloster is horrible.
It makes sense, though.
It's only convenient half the time.
How many?
Because it's.
I don't agree with you at all. I think that it makes perfect sense the way it was built.
No way. Just get rid of it and just have 2 doors. Make it a coupe. Call it a day.
The Veloster is the next one on the list.
All right.
The picture they show is the correct spec, the Veloster N.
Yep.
car and driver's performance car of the year, I think, last year. I saw one in Des Moines, and it's rad.
The N?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen one in person.
Yeah, there's an N in Des Moines in that blue color. And if you could get those red accents in orange, I'd be like, yep, got to have it.
You could easily vinyl wrap those.
Get a factory Gulf livery car? Get out of here.
Yeah, you could do a golf wrap on that for like $45. And it would look pretty good.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
Just need some orange vinyl. That's it.
And then a 10-10 golf logo just to put in the hood.
Hell yeah. I love it. I think they're cool. They are available with a dual clutch 7-speed transmission, but not on the N spec.
Manual for life.
The Veloster N is manual only. So
that's good.
Yeah. In the same vein as the Hyundais, but a different badge, the Kia Forte GT.
Who's buying that?
So, people who don't want a Hyundai accent.
Okay.
I think it looks better than the accent.
Comparable. I mean, they're fine. They're just cars. There's nothing to write home about either one of them. Except they have.
So what's interesting is this is the opposite of the way the accent is. In this one, the base trim is automatic only, and the top trim, which is the GT, has the manual option.
All right then. Getting sporty.
It's kind of cool that the sportier version gets the manual transmission as it should be.
Yeah. So,
kind of interesting. Next up on the list, I don't really know that this car should be on this list, but it is. It seems kind of weird to me. It's a stretch, but whatever. The Lotus Evora GT.
The everyman supercar.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, it's the article said every vehicle with a manual transmission. I'm assuming they're not counting. Are they? I'm assuming there's supercars and other high performance cars that aren't on this list that have manuals. Or is everything a dual clutch?
Ferrari doesn't make an automatic or a manual.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if you can get
Lambo does.
A Lambo.
Maybe they don't anymore.
They didn't have any Audis in the beginning of this list. I would have thought that there were Audis, and I assume this has gone alphabetical.
That's good. Well, what about the R8?
I don't know if you can get an R8 with a manual, but I know you can get a TT with a manual.
Still?
The list was alphabetical, so I don't know, man. I guess we'll find out when we get to the end. You mean to
tell me that Car and Driver has an article that's probably going to contradict this article with the cars that have manual transmissions?
Yeah, probably.
Tomorrow,
that would be the first time we've done this.
Tomorrow's article is going to come out with the 10 best manual transmission cars for 2020, and the top of the list is an Audi TT.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Yeah, so you can get a Lotus with a manual transmission. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Can you get a Lotus with an automatic transmission? Apparently you can.
Oh, lame.
Yeah, it says here, though an automatic is available in the outgoing Evora 400, a 6-speed manual is the only choice in the GT.
Good.
So, the Evora GT is the only Lotus manufactured car we can get here in the U.S. because the Elise and the Exige are not available anymore here. So
that's disappointing.
Yeah, no new Elise for Robbie.
I would never buy a new one anyways.
Well, that's fair. What's here is what you get. They're not getting any. There's not more coming.
That's true.
So, next up, Mazda 3, which I was actually kind of surprised that the 3 could still be bought with a manual. I wouldn't have been that shocked if you couldn't get them that way. Well, I think they no longer have the speed cars.
Yep.
So the Mazda 3 can be had with a stick, but only in the hatchback front-wheel drive premium package configuration. If you want a sedan, the all-wheel drive, or the lower trim levels, you have to have an automatic. So it has to be the hatchback, it has to be front-wheel drive, and it has to be the premium package.
That's weird.
So,
well, I thought this was like a really popular manual transmission car. Like they sold shitloads of them.
Nope.
Apparently not.
Yeah, I'm not that surprised that it's hard to get them that way. People don't buy them that way anymore, man.
No. I don't know. I don't look at this car and think, yeah, that's the car I want to drive with a manual transmission.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I wonder if James still has his 3. He had a Speed 3 for a while. I think he had a Speed.
Those looked way better.
Oh, for sure.
Like
for sure.
There's just something off about this. Like the rear end doesn't match the rest of the car.
No, the 6 is a really good looking car, but the 3, I mean, you can tell that this is a 3-inch suspension lift away from being a crossover.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That back end is so crossover. I can't even.
It's painfully rogue.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not good.
Exactly. No,
I'm all about going rogue, but not like that, Mazda.
Not that kind of.
Not
rogue.
like that.
Follow that up with another obvious choice, the Miata.
Do they even sell those in an automatic?
Yes, they do.
Lame. Why? Don't even bother. We all know they're going to end up in the SCCA or NASA at one point in their life. They need to be manual. Just save everybody some time.
They have an automatic 6-speed transmission available across all trim levels. So, yeah, it is too bad. But thankfully, we haven't seen the day where the manual transmission is not an option.
That's good. That is very good.
So, oh God, Robbie, the next one is
the cheapest car you can buy.
The cheapest car currently available in the United States, the Mitsubishi Mirage. So we've talked about this car at length in the past, and we've never said a good thing about it. It gets not worse. Good looking.
No. I don't think you could make it cheaper if you tried.
No, probably not. It's still a 5-speed, not even a 6-speed, which is kind of a bum deal. I like how they say higher spec, and we use that term generously. Versions come with CVT and return better fuel economy as a result. So this is one of those cars where an automatic transmission will get you better gas mileage.
How short of a lifespan does a CVT and a Mitsubishi Mirage have?
Probably longer than it did in your Rogue.
Hey-o. The Nissans are almost expected to fail at like 75,000. Anything above 100 is it's a grenade waiting to explode. This can't be better.
The Mitsubishi Mirage, or the Mitsubishi dealership here in Des Moines, advertises 10-year, 100,000-mile warranties, so you're good. Don't worry about it.
A 10-year warranty on a $10,000 car.
I think that they're banking on the fact that most people won't own them that long, and the warranty's non-transferable.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that warranty that they offer is a dealership offered warranty.
Oh, really?
Not a factory offered warranty. So I think they bank on the fact that nobody keeps them that long anyway, or they move away, or they crash them, or they trade them in, or whatever, and that an overwhelming majority of the people who buy a Mitsubishi won't own it long enough to see that past the factory warranty and into the warranty period where the dealer's on the hook.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think that's the gamble they play in an attempt to at least sell one car a week. Yeah, this is like the car you would sell to like budget rentals and whatnot. They can rent for $10 a day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's scary.
How do these even pass?
Next up, the 370Z.
Oh, yeah. What year is that?
Another rev matching car.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, even like along the whole line, these have rev matching in them.
Oh, I'll be damned. I didn't know that.
So that's not even a newer thing or a Nismo only thing even.
Can I stuff that in my 350?
I have no idea. Does your 350 have a electronic throttle body?
Yes.
Then you can buy a box and do it that way. You talk to Booney.
Ah,
because that's what they have in their
The BMW.
car. Yeah, it's just a box they put in.
Never even considered that. I'm gonna have to look into that.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. I don't even. So there is an option for an automatic, which I'm a little bit surprised by, but only in the sport touring model.
I'll say they're out there. But yeah, the manual transmission's pretty common. I mean, you see it. That's usually how you see them, which is good.
I think that's kind of like the Miata.
You expect
most of them were bought by sports car aficionados, and that's the way they want them. So.
Yeah, or people that think they're hot boys that like to pretend that they're race cars on the street. But
they don't buy them from the factory that way. Those people don't buy new cars.
No. We do not buy new cars.
Right. We buy used cars. So, next up, the Nissan Versa.
Hell yeah.
Again, not surprising. Don't really have much to say about that one.
It's super cheap. Cheap is good. It is a good cheap
on the Spark and the Mirage. Yep. So,
I would take. But definitely not the Mirage, but this is good value at the price though. The Versa's good.
I would take this over the Versa or over the Mirage for sure.
Yeah, that's not a question.
Way better looking.
You could argue the Spark to me, but I think I'd take the Versa.
Well,
with the manual.
I'd take the Spark because it's a GM, and that's just who I am, Robbie. But
how am I supposed to choose a GM or a Nissan? I can't just smash them together, Adam.
That's true. Well, yes, you can. You absolutely can. If you were going to do that, I would recommend the Versa and the Ecotec.
Yeah, I think that's how I'd have to do it.
Because I think the Versa is a better looking car. Not that it's a good looking car. No, it's just a better looking car.
When you got a turd and a shit sandwich, and you know which one's better.
Yeah,
they're both terrible, but one's better than the other.
Right. So, next up. We get into a little bit more expensive cars. See, this is why I think there's something wrong with this list. They have the Porsche Porsche Boxster and Cayman.
Yep.
I don't believe that Audi doesn't sell a manual transmission car. Maybe they don't.
I don't buy that. They have to.
I think we actually even covered that in a news story. We did cover that in a news story.
That they killed all the manuals?
Yes, because I just remembered now when we did that episode where we went through and looked at accessories and stuff like that that manufacturers sell, and we found all those stupid things.
You mean great things, but yeah.
You remember that episode?
Of course.
You could buy keychains from Audi that said save the manual, and like a week or two before we did that show, one of our news articles was that Audi was killing manuals.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's super weird.
So I don't think you can buy any Audis or Lambos with manual transmissions. No Ferraris.
No.
Obviously, we have Porsches. The next one up on this list, the 911.
Yeah.
So, they're not being price discriminatory here.
No.
McLaren doesn't have a manual transmission option.
No, McLaren don't.
I think this really is every manual transmission car, regardless of price.
Hot damn. I do appreciate Porsche sticking to their roots with manual transmissions.
Well, it seems that Porsche is not the type to give up on a bad thing. So, or else, they would have moved that engine forward by now.
Yeah, in their eyes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, people are still buying it, so who cares?
Yeah, just keep re-engineering it.
Yeah.
So I don't really have much to say about the 911.
No, that's cool.
I'm glad they make them as manuals, like you said.
Yeah. I hate them for how fast they are on track and how badly they make me look like a fucking moron.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. If I'm losing to somebody, it might as well be somebody with a car that's 6 times the price of mine.
Yeah, at least it's not half. At least you're not losing to a Versa. Right?
There you go.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, I can lose to a brand new Porsche. That's fine. I won't think twice about that.
Yeah. So let's try and wrap this up. Keep this moving along because we have a time frame here. Next up, the Subaru BRZ / Toyota 86.
Yep, I knew that. That's good.
Yep.
My
son's at the door.
I heard that.
No, sorry. He sounds very upset today. He's had a rough day, but
haven't we all?
Yeah. So,
yeah,
the Toyobaru twins.
They're fun. Hopefully they do something different with them here moving forward. But as long as they keep the manual, we're good.
I know there was, I try not to include these things in the news because I don't like talking about it that much, but there was a lot of speculation and a lot of rumor mill about a turbocharged version of this, the new version of this car coming.
Nice.
So,
hopefully that comes to fruition.
Yep. The Impreza WRX STIs.
I assume basically available. All the Subarus have this or some sort of manual.
Well, I would be surprised if things like the Outback and the Ascent and
the Forester like that, and whatnot.
Forester, yeah, but the cars, the fun ones,
yep,
at least, yeah, the Toyota Corolla.
No, really, still
has that manual option.
Good for
the
them.
Corolla SE can be optioned with a 6-speed manual as an alternative to the standard CVT.
Oh, that's the right choice then.
Buyers can also spec manual in the SE and XSE versions of the hatchback.
The more you know.
The Yaris.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Wait, that's not the fun one. That's the boring one.
Yeah, this is another one where the older ones are better. Just like the Fit, the older ones are way better looking.
And the smaller ones are better.
Right. So... and then turns out Volkswagen does still make it. It's just not in the Audi. The Golf and the Jetta are the last two on this list. So you can still get Volkswagen Audi Group products with a manual transmission.
But it's not Audi.
The Audis. So
the Jetta had the easiest transmission I've ever driven.
Same transmission as what was in my TT.
Oh, really?
Was that a 6-speed?
I don't remember.
Oh, you had a diesel.
It was a diesel.
So you had a different
04.
transmission. Well, you had different gear ratios at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the most forgiving transmission ever. It basically drove itself.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very easy car to drive for sure. So there you go. Manual transmissions.
This listicle brought to you by Factory Fabrication. You can get 30 manual transmission cars according to Car and Driver.
I think that's a pretty accurate list of all of them.
Besides being convinced there was an Audi, nothing jumping out at me.
No, I remember that they killed the Audis. No more Audis. Manuals.
That's strange.
Yeah, we live in a weird world, Robbie. So,
we don't have a topic this week. We're just we're shooting the shit.
I got 2 little things I want to talk about. I think you may have 1 or 2 little things you want to talk about.
No, I haven't.
We'll knock out some news.
I haven't done anything.
And then I got to go to work. So
wait, go to work?
Yeah, I'm going to work
in the nighttime.
In the nighttime. Nighttime round 2. I did it last night too.
Oh man,
it's been a week, Robbie. Let me tell you.
It sounds like
I'm about to tell you how shitty it started this week. So
I'm in.
Let's just dive right into it. Monday, Memorial Day here in the United States, a holiday, if you will. We weren't supposed to be at work. I woke up about 3:30 in the morning to my dog trying to get me to let her outside so she could go to the bathroom. So, I took her outside and I'm looking through my phone and I had an email that I had received from a customer of ours requesting assistance on a fiber outage that he sent at 12:20 at night. Why he sent an email and not some phone calls expecting to get a response, I don't quite understand. But weirdly enough, at the exact same time that I was reading my email, my boss sent a message to me being like, is there any chance you're awake and can handle this? And it's like, yeah, I just woke up. I was reading it. So at 3:30 Monday morning, I went to work.
That's too early.
Yeah, it was not fun. Of course, because I have my new gaming computer and I had finally gotten it all set up. I didn't go to bed till like midnight. So I was feeling really good Monday morning.
Which is super late for you on a normal night.
Oh, it's crazy late.
You are not a night owl when it's not work related.
No, I'm not a night owl. I'm a bed by 9:30 at the latest guy, if everything goes well. So, So I nearly made it to my office to get my work vehicle when I had a blowout on the Cavalier. I lost the front passenger side tire.
Did you run over something? Or are you saying
I must have ran over something because there was a huge hole ripped through the tread.
So you're saying
I don't know what I hit. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything, but that tire got tore up pretty bad. So
you're not blaming the previous owner for sabotaging you and setting you up and hanging you out to dry.
Not this time.
Okay.
Not this time,
okay.
no. But there was a small amount of sabotage involved in this still.
Oh.
So things that people need to add to the list of to their new car checklist, their new to them car checklist. Make sure you have a spare tire and a jack.
Oh, no.
I didn't have a jack.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, Robbie.
Oh, fuck. 3 a.m.
So it was about 4 o'clock by the time this happened. But yeah, it was very early in the morning. So I called my State Farm Insurance roadside assistance deal again. And I said, I just needed assistance with a spare tire. I didn't need a tow or anything like that. And that stuff is free.
Nice.
There's obviously no mileage limit on it or anything like that because I'm still mad about that. But, excuse me. They told me that they would be there in an hour.
Okay.
And mind you, I am trying to get to work to deal with a fiber emergency. So there are, in this particular scenario, there was not a super small town, but not a very big town either. Maybe a 2,500 or so people, but completely without internet or TV at this point. During a lockdown pandemic, so people want their internet and their TV.
Yeah, luckily, it's early in the morning, so it shouldn't be affecting a lot of them.
So it turns out that we're not going to get into it. We'll just leave it alone.
Fair enough.
There's a lot of stupid things happening with this particular deal, but so I sat there for over an hour waiting. A state patrol stopped to make sure I was okay. I was like, yeah, just a flat tire, just bought this car. And I never thought to check and see if there's a spare tire and a jack in here. And so
of course there's not.
Just waiting. Just waiting for my roadside to show up with a jack so I can swap this out. At least there was a spare tire in it.
That's good.
Yeah. But ultimately the tow truck guy never showed up.
Oh, shit.
It was almost an hour and a half. And, I assume lots of states do this. Iowa DOT has those highway helpers.
Yeah, they're super awesome.
Which I did not expect them to be working that early in the morning on a holiday.
I think they actually
they run like a 24/7 shift. I don't know.
I don't think they do 24 hours, but they're out there more than you would think.
They must be.
They're for sure out there during rush hours and whatnot.
Yeah, one of them pulled up behind me, thank God. And so basically, for those that aren't in the know, these highway helpers, they've just got like Ford F-250s with utility beds on them. And, they just help people with whatever it is that you need if you're stuck on the side of the road, And so he's got a jack and all these different tools and stuff like that in his truck. So we were able to jack up the car, take the old wheel off, put the spare on and all that stuff. And it was real easy and he was on his way. That's the second time I've actually had the pleasure of highway helper. The first time was when the Focus engine blew up and it was negative like 25 that day. God, and I was like, I'm going to freeze to death in this car. And the highway helper showed up and I sat in his truck for like, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 minutes waiting for that tow truck to show up. So, right as he was getting ready to leave, I got a text message from the tow truck company saying that they couldn't find my vehicle.
Did you give him a mile marker or drop a pin?
Just to explain how this works, I have a State Farm app on my phone, and you open the app and you go to the roadside assistance thing, and you do it all on the phone. You don't have to call them or anything like that. And you literally drop a GPS coordinate to this thing. And it asks you, is this Is this correct? Are you in this area? And yep, that's where I'm at. And that's it. You know, they ask you what level of service you need, and you know, you write some stuff down, and then there was some comment things in there, and so I put that I was in the west or southbound lane, depending on how you look at it, because I was on 3580. So, you know, just to make sure that he knew which direction I was facing and that he was on the right side of the road when he came up to me and not in the other lane, not being able to get to me or whatever. And apparently they couldn't find me. I don't know how they couldn't find me, but I just, there was a thing to say, are you still in need of help? Yes or no? And I just responded no. And that was the end.
Forget it at this point.
Yep. That was the end of it. So, thankfully Iowa DOT highway helper was there to save me yet again. I made it to work a little later than I had originally planned, but it is what it is. So, I guess I got to buy 2 new tires for the Cavalier.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, the week after you buy a gaming computer. That sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. I mean, I have the money. It's not the end of the world. That's good. Right now, it's got a snow tire on the front just because I still needed to drive the car around.
Right.
But yeah, I'll just buy.
Yeah, just throw small seasons on there.
I'll probably buy 2 new tires. That way, they're the same at least. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that's just frustrating.
Fun way to start the week.
Why me? And why at 4:00 in the morning?
On what's supposed to be your holiday.
Yeah, on what's supposed to be. I ended up working almost 16 hours that day, and it was not what I needed to start my day with. No. So it was a mess.
No shit.
As is usually the case in my life. So, yeah. I text Josh and I was like, no Jack. Sweet. And he's like, man, you have like the worst luck in the world. And I'm like, dude, I know.
He's not wrong.
Like, it wasn't even my fault. I have no control over this. Nope. There's nothing I could have done to prevent this from happening.
No.
I mean, I guess you could have
had a jack. Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, the tire itself.
No.
There's nothing I could have done to prevent that from being the situation.
If you would have bought those aftermarket wheels and tires that I sent you, that would have
I still would have been driving the car that day in that place. I still would have hit whatever it was that I hit, and I still would have had the hole in that tire instead.
Fine. You take your logic and just give it to us then. Fine.
It's just bad luck. Okay. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to decide, like, do I go to a junkyard and buy a jack, like pull one out of another Cavalier? Or like my dad has this little, I think he bought it at Harbor Freight. It's just this tiny little jack, and it goes in like this hard plastic case, and that's just in the back of his truck all the time.
Yep.
And it's actually on wheels, and it's a much nicer jack than the stupid scissor jack things that come with cars. And I'm kind of thinking, like, maybe I just go buy that.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, if you have it and you ever have to use it, it was worth every penny. Well,
I mean, if I buy that, I'll be able to put it in any shit box I own from here to the end of eternity.
Yes.
Whereas if I go and buy the Cavalier one, like, okay, well, I got it for this Cavalier, but the next shit box I buy probably won't have one either.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go buy a jack.
Yeah,
like the cheapest.
Yeah, something that's not
low key jack that I can get my hands on. Just leave it in the trunk of my car. I might even buy 2 and put one in the other vehicle too.
Yeah,
whatever it is I have.
You won't regret it if you ever need it.
I've had multiple times where I've had flat tires and I've fought the jack every time.
Yeah, that or like with any truck that has the safety latch that holds the tire on.
Yeah,
that rusts and then doesn't let you drop your tire.
Yeah,
that's
that was
infuriating.
The problem with the van.
Avalanche, yeah, same thing.
My minivan, I couldn't get that tire to drop.
God, that's annoying. I had to cut it off with a grinder after I got home. After somebody let me borrow their spare tire on their new truck.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Just buy a jack and then just have it all the time. So, but yeah, typical.
Yep.
So, the other thing I have, this is much less annoying. It's just something I don't remember. I was driving to work or driving from work or something like that one day, and I was following a rogue of all things on the interstate.
You were going rogue, following someone going rogue.
Yeah, and I noticed that the Rogue that I was following had a center exit exhaust system on it.
Why?
And I was like, what is going on here, man?
No way.
And so I Googled Rogue just to be like, is that what they all have? Because I felt like if yours had a center exit exhaust,
we would have noticed.
You would have leaned on that. Right, you would have been like, "It's sporty, it's
I don't
center
know, man.
exit," you know.
No, but yeah,
yeah, but you would have tried to use that in your defense of it,
of course,
because when we first started the podcast, you hadn't fallen out of love with your crossover SUV lifestyle. That was still a good idea in your mind.
It was the ultimate compromise, yes.
And you liked your Rogue when we started the podcast.
I didn't hate it, no.
And Michael and I made endless fun of you for the thing.
It was so practical until it didn't work.
The Bloodmobile.
It was Bloodmobile.
And so I feel like if yours had center exit, you would have tried to use that in your defense. I'm looking at this thing, trying to figure out what is going on here, and I saw there was a badge on the passenger side of the hatch, opposite the Rogue emblem that said Krom, Krom, and it was a really stupid script.
Wait. Doesn't it say Krom and then have like a hard line over top of the O? Like Chrome? Is it Chrome or Chrome?
What it is? Is it Chrome?
Yes, it's Kro with a hard line over top of it. Chrome. Krom.
That's even stupider. That's even dumber.
All right.
But
anyways,
the script that they wrote that in makes it look like it's not a factory emblem.
No, it looks like you'd get it at Pep Boys.
And so I thought maybe that was something else. So I Googled Rogue Krom.
Yep.
And I pulled up. It turns out that this was a package.
No, it was not.
In 2011 on the Rogue.
No.
It was introduced as being this sportier
with the same shitty
Rogue,
CVT.
Right? Yeah, and so it's got a different front bumper, front fascia, if you will. That's supposed to look kind of like a GTR.
Oh, come on. No, it does not.
No, dude, it totally does. Look at the lower grill section of the front end of this.
All right, give me a second.
If you Google, if you just pull up a Google and you Google Rogue Crom, there's an Autoblog article that has all the pictures you need to see this thing. Chrome.
Yeah,
Chrome.
Whatever.
Apparently, they also made this as a cube. There was a cube Chrome.
That would not be better.
Edition as well.
It does. It wants to be a GTR so bad.
Yes,
it's so bad. Oh my god!
The rear gets a center exit exhaust with a sportier sound, and the package sits on quote blinged up wheels and gets finished off with privacy glass, body colored mirrors, and steering wheel audio controls.
My base model had all of those things. Except the bumpers.
Offered in 3 color choices: Venom Red,
Blood Red,
Wicked Black, and Gotham Gray.
Ooh, wicked!
We'll set off the Chrome badge in hopes of making this Rogue the baddest grocery getter on the block.
There can't be many of these. They really did take a GTR bumper and make it look.
Oh, dude, it totally is.
It's the same thing.
It is.
It's so bad. I had the same year and everything.
But your bumper didn't look like that.
No, mine was super worse. Or better. I don't know.
So, I mean,
are those like 16s? Like they're talking like there's something special. They're tiny.
they're chrome.
Ooh. What the? What did this cost?
I don't know.
Too much.
To see. Chrome door handles are now standard on all Rogue models.
Yep.
So that's not any. Oh, no, they are 17-inch wheels.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still not that big for a
17s, baby.
crossover. You could squeeze 19s under there, no problem. Then we could talk with your Chrome edition, with your big chromies. That's so weird. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
So, and it's got to be louder, too.
Yeah, it has a sportier tone.
Sportier doesn't necessarily mean louder.
Well,
but
okay,
in this
that's
case,
fair.
it does.
So,
oh, that's bad.
Did you click on the auto blog? Article?
No, I just pulled up a different picture. I can go find it.
Okay,
though,
if you're the very first result on the Google search is a Autoblog article, and in the first paragraph they link to their Nissan Cube Chrome article, and it's not any better.
Is it the same setup like with the?
No, it doesn't have
doesn't
the
have the
GTR-esque bumper, but it's pretty bad.
But it was only 14,000 new.
Yeah, but it's got a really bad spoiler.
Really bad everything.
Backlit cup holders, which Robbie is into because they're blue LEDs, and this weird front bumper that is not good.
They do have like sex lights in there.
Yeah,
that's nice. I mean, you're not going to get laid in a Rogue, trust me. But that's nice that it's there.
Sure. So
it's got fake carbon fiber on the shifter thing, the bezel. This is painfully ricer.
Yeah,
from the factory in 2011. That's the worst part, is that it's like 10 years too late.
That's kind of the way that the auto manufacturers are, though. They really are bad about lag behind. So,
yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know. I just wanted to, I wanted to share with everybody this Rogue that I discovered on my way to work one day.
Yep. Everybody needs to appreciate its awfulness.
The Chrome edition. KROM.
Yeah,
I think that bothers me the most.
It needs to. Because some marketing person's like, it's going to be edgy and cool if we put the hard O. Chrome, man.
Well, down here at the bottom, they actually have like the Nissan press release, and it says here, based at NNA, which is Nissan North America headquarters in Franklin, Tennessee, the Specialty Vehicles Group was formed in August of 2006 to develop niche derivatives of Nissan vehicles. Isn't that what Nismo was supposed to be?
Yeah, that's what Nismo should be. Niche,
this
sporty,
is a direct
performance.
quote from the guy who leads the Specialty Vehicles Group. Chrome adds a level of style and appearance along with a sense of intrigue, excitement, and self-expression. The Chrome name suggests cars with attitude rather than a literal interpretation of chrome wheels or trim, which it does have. We leverage our speed and flexibility in bringing exciting new products to the market, faster and for less than mainstream models.
Fastest and more furious.
So bad, man.
That is so painfully 2001. But
yeah,
worse.
The center exit just had me.
Was their previous jobs all at APC?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That being said, those seats were very comfortable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Should we do some news, Robbie?
Yeah, I honestly don't have much going on. I've done a couple podcasts that I'm working on my interview skills. I stumble over my words really bad, and I'm very self-conscious about it. But I've gotten better. I have gotten better. I'm really proud of it. I am proud of that.
I've noticed.
I've worked really hard.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get back to the norm here soon.
That would be ideal.
I can join you instead of having to be by yourself.
Yep. The weird thing is like struggle to get like not struggle, but like you go back and forth and like, when can you do it? Oh, I can do it this day. It was like, that's certainly never going to work for Adam, but okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So it is. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's strange times, and we're doing what we can to get interviews, and I'm happy with the ones that we've gotten so far. Yeah. And then, like you, I have decided I need a gaming PC for podcasting and gaming needs, so that's happening this week, it looks like.
So, boy.
So hopefully next week our Zoom and recording and all that stuff will be even gooder. Or not, I don't know. Maybe I won't have it ready by then, but I'm hoping to.
I think the big thing for you will be speed of rendering and stuff like that.
That will save me
the back end
a crap load of time. And then even like this episode, like having OBS and Zoom working at the same time while trying to do other things is just too much for this laptop. So
yeah, that's fair.
It's working okay, but definitely can't do anything beyond this.
That'll be cool though.
Nope. And I was supposed to have a test and tune day. Oh, I do actually have something going on. I was supposed to have a test and tune day on Monday, but like no one has their cars ready apparently, including me. So we canceled it, and we're not going to do it. But I think I may actually have figured out what's wrong with my steering.
Oh?
So you know how I mentioned that when I was driving down the track, sometimes I'd be going straight and my steering wheel would be cocked to the left, and then like a few turns later it'd be cocked to the right but still going straight. And I kind of we kind of chalked it up to the fact that the road's a little cambered and uneven, and it happens. But the more I thought about it, I was like, that can't be, for how much it's cocked. There's no way. Like it just can't.
Right. This isn't a banked corner.
No, I shouldn't be going at 30 degrees. And then I was kind of looking into it, and I honestly don't know anyone that's actually had it quite like this. So I was messaging Josh Fettis too. I was like, hey, okay, help me think through this, because this is totally weird to me. And I think what happened is I've blown out the seals of my power steering rack, or my steering rack.
Yeah.
So, I moved, because when I redid my trailer, I put the 240 in the garage of the house and let it sit after the previous track day, and it sat there for like a couple weeks. And then when I moved it back, what I thought was a very small itty bitty puddle of power steering fluid was actually a lot of power steering fluid, and it's pushing fluid up the gear part that connects to the steering shaft.
Yeah.
So every time I turn the wheel, it just like gushes power steering fluid up the shaft. Jesus. So that for sure needs to be rebuilt. So I think what's happening is when I turn one way or the other and then try to turn back, I think fluid is getting past all the seals. So it works, but it's like really loose and shitty.
Okay.
So I saw that
makes sense.
It's starting to make sense in my mind as to why it would do that, and it's gradually gotten worse in the last couple of events. So right. I think it's just gradually getting worse. And then I watched a video of this drifter that I watched. Let's just say it's a 17 minutes video, and I watched like 3.5 minutes of it. I'm like, well, if he can do it with basic tools, I can do it. But yeah, he just showed how to pull the steering rack apart and then replace the seals and put it all back together. And it linked it right to the high-performance seal kit that he did. Okay, well, I guess we're going to try that. So the steering rack's coming out Saturday morning, and hopefully I can have it back in on Sunday. Will it go that easy? It will not.
Yeah, you never know.
But, I mean, just few nuts and bolts, and I got new bushings, and I got new seals. And the guy's video is pretty good. From what I saw, I just kind of walked through what steps he did, took it apart.
I bet that'll change so much for you.
Have actual like solid feedback from my steering.
Yeah. Because how many miles are on that chassis?
130 at least.
Okay. So it's not crazy, but it's old.
I'm guessing there's nothing like, and that, I mean, the car's been in accidents. Who knows what that steering pump's seen, or steering rack has seen. I mean, it's always
probably overpressured it for a period of time.
There was that one day that I went without the restrictor in the power steering pump.
Yeah.
So that alone could have blown out a seal or multiple seals. And then I've driven it for 2 years of track days since then.
Right.
So it does it wouldn't surprise me if I blew out the seals using a LS power steering pump. So it's definitely time. So before I take it on track, I'll definitely have that rebuilt. And then if I was planning on taking that out, not expecting to have it done by Monday, and then taking the Z to the test day. But oh well, no test day.
It is what it is.
Yep. So hopefully I can give you feedback here on how difficult it is to rebuild the steering rack, and how much better it is now that it has polyurethane bushings and new seals.
Nice.
And maybe now it'll stop spraying power steering fluid all over my fucking windshield. I
didn't realize it was getting all the way up into your windshield.
It was always bad last year because it would boil out of the power steering reservoir, or not boil, but it would like pressurize and like seep out a little bit. And that was always a problem with the OEM ones. It was a huge problem. So then I went to this other aftermarket reservoir, and that got better. But if it was overfilled, it would just spray it all over. And then I blew it up before and had remnants of fluid all over the place. So this last test day, it was way better than it's ever been, but I still felt like I noticed some power steering fluid on my windshield. And I think it's seriously coming all the way up from the bottom of the steering rack and making its way up to the windshield.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, so maybe now that I've replaced every single component of my steering system, it'll work.
Robbie. That's some real race car shit there, though.
But I was looking at
fighting that for literally for years, replacing every single thing. Yeah, that's some real race car. That's real world race car stuff there.
But in case you're wondering, a steering rack for a S14 is worth its weight in platinum. Holy fuck. It's so expensive. So,
that doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, I thought, okay, I could find one for, let's just say like $100, maybe $200. Not cheap, but I can live with it.
Right.
No, like $350 at least.
The one of the Omni's a quick ratio one, and it's kind of valuable.
Yep.
For Omni parts, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. So
no, $40 worth of seals and $16 worth of bushings, and I'm like, okay, well, it can't be that hard. Or maybe I'll just have to go buy. Maybe I'll buy seals and bushings and have to buy a new one anyways because I ruined it. But there's only one way to find out.
If you get too far into it, you can always take it to somebody, and
there are places that rebuild them.
Yeah,
so I'll have options.
Yeah,
as long as it's done by the end of June, and assuming we have that event. Oh, which I just realized today, my selfish little 3-year-old nephew is having his birthday party on the same day that I have my first track day of the year.
How selfish of him.
He's so selfish. So I'm going to have to make him wait a whole week to see me. I'll see him over 4th of July weekend.
Toddlers are really good at ruining things, let me tell you.
So I don't know. I haven't even talked to my brother about it, but his son thinks that he has to have a birthday party in the middle of a pandemic and make me skip a TT day.
I get it. You should try having one of your own and all the things that they ruin.
Don't put that on me. I was at a family thing. They had 10 screaming children for 3 straight days.
Gross.
It is the best birth control in the world. The best.
That's so funny.
Because by Sunday or, this time by Monday, everyone's like, how do you feel about kids? I'm like, I think you all know how I feel about kids. I think you know how Jess feels about kids right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man, that's 10 kids in one house that's a lot. That's too much.
So
anyway,
let's do some news, Robbie.
Let's do some news.
We gotta wrap this up. Yep. I don't want to be late for work.
Presented by Apex Pro. You can need to head over to apextrackcoach.com. Use our code 10tenths. Get a free window mount. Our first TT days coming up at the end of June. I assume a lot of you are also coming up to your first events of the year. TT or Time Trials National Tour just did their first event. Looked to be like a whopping success. which is really good.
There were a ton of cars there, like over 100 people.
Yep, they broke the record, which they had. The previous record was set there last year as well for attendance. So that's a good sign, showing that the time trials program is growing, which also means there's more people that need Apex Pros. So if you can hear my voice, head over to apextrackcoach.com. Adam, what's going on?
First up, Travis Pastrana will be handling the Gymkhana 11 video.
Yay?
In a Subaru, of all things. So returning back to the Subaru roots of the first Gymkhana movies with Mr. Block.
I would say they've been Ford for as long as forever.
Yeah, he's been a Ford-sponsored guy for quite some time. So,
I'm curious why he's handing the reins off to Pastrana. I mean, I don't have anything against having someone else to do it. It just kind of seems silly that it's Ken Block's series, and it's like, Travis has his own stuff. It could be a Nitro Circus thing that's like, so I don't know why you would.
I don't know. I assume that Ken Block probably feels a little bit like, well, I've done 10 of these. I've kind of done everything that I feel I need to do
until he builds that
Huna
Fox or whatever. He's got another car coming. He's
got a Fox body now.
Yeah, that one. Until that's done.
I'm sure that we are not done seeing Ken Block videos.
No, plus Amazon just gave him a shitload of money for him.
Yeah, stuff isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But so it does say at the bottom of this that he's expected to be back in the driver's seat for Gymkhana 12.
Oh,
so
yeah.
But no, I think of all the people that could have done it, I think Pastrana will do well because he's such a madman.
Yeah, I think whatever he's got planned will be extremely over the top. It'll be same crew that filmed the first ones are filming this. So I mean, the production value is going to be super high. It wouldn't surprise me if Travis is willing to take even bigger risks.
Travis, he better backflip a car. That's all I'm saying.
He backflipped a monster truck.
Well, isn't he the first person to land a backflip on a motorcycle?
No, he was the first one to do a double.
Oh, was he the first double? I thought he was the first.
Mike Metzger. Yeah, Mike Metzger was the first backflip landed in competition.
Okay.
And then Pastrana was the first double backflip. And then a couple of years ago, one of the Nitro Circus guys, and I'm blanking on his name, he did a triple backflip at Travis's house.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely nuts.
I remember watching all the videos that led up to that on the Nitro Circus page, and like how much practice and effort that dude put into doing a triple back. That's wild,
mind blowing,
wild stuff. But
yeah, I just feel like
Travis needs to do a backflip or a 360 or something,
some like crazy barrel roll. Yeah,
that car will be airborne. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, more airborne in one video than all the other videos combined, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. I have no reservations about it being fun to watch.
No, I think it'll be a fun thing to watch. Not that they have been not fun, but they have kind of gotten
repetitive
and a little bit formulaic almost. And I think that mixing it up is not going to be a bad thing. So
no, it'll be fun.
I'm excited to see what he does with it. So up next, a study says that traffic will be worse when this pandemic thing is all over.
It's already
the lockdown
worse.
Comes to an end.
It is worse now. That being said, it's still not too bad in Iowa, but
no,
it's definitely worse than it was before this started. I feel like.
So the logic behind this is that due to people being scared of close human contact with complete strangers,
I get that
more people are going to be purchasing their own cars and relying less on public transportation and ride sharing.
Yeah, I think cities like Chicago, New York, that actually have like a really functioning public transit system.
Yeah,
that's where you're really going to see a lot of change. I think.
See, I have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, go on.
Being the small town guy that I am and not really knowing how this all works, but I know that you always hear about people talking about how hard it is to park, how expensive it is to park in dense urban areas, Chicago, New York, LA. And I think, like here in Des Moines, parking is available. Roads are relatively adequate for the amount of traffic we have. We're pretty spread out. We're not that densely populated. And our public transportation is pretty weak.
Yeah, for sure.
To put it lightly. And so, like, I just, I don't think that anybody who's currently using our public transit here in Des Moines, I don't believe that they're going to switch, because I don't. If they're using it, it's because they almost have to.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see quite the swing here in Des Moines.
I think that's the same in Chicago or New York, especially. New York's the one I hear it always the worst. Like, people use public transit because there's literally no other option. You can't drive a car into downtown New York every day and park it if you're a normal human being.
Right. Or what's crazy is the people that live, like, we'll just say it's like an hour train ride from their house to their work.
A good friend of mine, a previous coworker of mine, his mom and stepdad live in extreme suburban New York City, and his stepdad has, we took the train in. I went with him once up there, and I think we were on the train for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The train station's about a 5-minute drive from his front door. There's a parking lot there. You park the car, and you get on a train, and it's an hour and a half drive to Grand Central Station. And then he said it was like a 15 or 20-minute walk from the station to the building that he works in.
That's crazy.
In the heart of downtown New York. He does it 3 days a week.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you could ever convince me to do it, is if it was like an alt work schedule where I didn't have to go in 5 days a week.
Right. But I just think that people who live in that situation are forced to do that out of necessity. And whether you don't feel comfortable next to a stranger or not, what other choice do you have?
True. I think
there's no place to park those cars.
No, but I think priorities.
I just don't see it going up.
No, but I do think priorities will shift a little bit. I think, Ames was a good example of this. Ames had a really good public transit system for a college town. A lot of people live out in West Ames. They can take the buses in. The schedule's really well set up. But I would bet that you're not going to see SciRide working like it did in the past. I'm guaranteeing that you're going to see more students with parking passes. And again, that's just like one niche area, but I think, let's just say anyone going to Iowa State next year, I would be shocked to see the SciRide buses working like they were when I was there. I'm betting you're going to see completely packed student parking lots, the ones that you have to pay passes for. So, and maybe not necessarily in like the densest of areas where you have to have a public transit system, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ames, other college towns that have those types of setups. I would, have those get a little bit more congested. People that would normally, take taxis are going to drive to the airport instead. Pay the extra money so they don't have to take a taxi, or just stuff like that. I think you're going to see a little bit of a culture shift. Maybe not a complete dramatic. No more trains, no more buses, no more all that stuff. But I would imagine it's going to be a little bit of a shift.
I do think that there's a pretty large chunk of our population here that has realized that they can do at least some of their job from home. That they're going to really lean on that as things start to open up again. Like, maybe I don't need to come into work 5 days a week. Maybe I can come into the office 3 days a week and work from home the other 2, and not have to drive to work and not have to deal with the bullshit and still get my job done.
Yeah, I think that a lot of companies are going to shift to that model. Like, if you can work remotely and you're effective, they'll make it work. Because I know that our company, for example, anyone that's a computer-based business type person, you certainly don't need to be in the office. And with Zoom and stuff like that, you can do most of the interactions you need for meetings and stuff over the computer. So yeah, there's really no plan to bring them back on site anytime soon. So I think that might be the saving grace to like the congestion and stuff too. Is if people are not being forced to go back to the office, that'll kind of mitigate it a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I just don't see that. I can't imagine it can get worse in some places. Yeah. As bad as it already is, I can't imagine it getting worse.
No. Yeah, because I think if it got any worse, people just like forget it. I can't do this anymore for whatever reason. Like whether I can't live here anymore or I can't work in a place I have to drive this place. Just whatever. I think people would finally get to that point where like, you know what, it's not fucking worth it.
Yeah. Probably. So,
speaking of
lastly, what's that?
I was going to say, speaking of not worth it.
Yeah. Lastly, Atlanta is considering making a designated area for street racing to try and curb reckless driving. So what they're literally looking at is making a legal space for burnouts, donuts, and drag racing.
This isn't going to work.
No,
not even a little bit. Like the whole point,
no.
The reason it's so popular is because they're breaking the law and they think that's cool.
Right.
We have drag racing tracks. We have race tracks. Like
it's way more density than the tracks we're trying to use.
Absolutely.
There's way more opportunities to get out and drag race than there is to do what we're trying to do. Even.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I can do drag racing more prevalently than I can autocross, for God's sakes.
Every Friday and Saturday night, man, if you really want to.
Yeah. So I can't.
Yeah, so like
I can't imagine this being an effective thing.
Yeah, a little backstory. Apparently, Atlanta has. I said Atlanta really weird. Atlanta has a really bad street racing problem. It's kind of their second pandemic going on right now, with less people in the streets. It looks like. People are just kind of flocking to Atlanta to do street racing. Like, there's articles claiming that the people that are posting this on YouTube are being sponsored by companies out of places like Detroit, which is freaking crazy. So they proposed to have, actually not before even that, they had like 44 people got arrested and like 29 cars got impounded. Like just an insane amount of people are getting in trouble for this. And then the suggestion was, let's just make it give them a safe space so they can do this, so without hurting the general public. Acting as if we don't already have racetracks. So I mean, the person that wants to videotape themselves for YouTube racing down the interstate or wherever they're doing it, there's no effing way you're going to talk them into putting on a helmet. That's not cool. That's not YouTube cool. So the solution is there. They're fully aware that they could go to a racetrack. They're not. They're actively choosing not to. So this isn't a solution that's going to work. You might get a couple. No. You might get a couple people that are going to be like, "Okay, it's not worth it to be in the street." Now that I've watched 44 of my friends get arrested and 29 of their cars taken away, but that has nothing to do with the fact that you just offered them a safe space.
No. I just don't see it being an effective way of mitigating this. I think that people are still going to keep doing it.
I mean, you gotta enforce the laws. I mean, if they're going to break the laws, you enforce them, and that is what it is. I mean, we like seeing street racing on movies and shit, but I mean, really, in all reality, we don't support it in real life.
Yeah, and they talk about in this. I don't know for sure if the people in Atlanta who are putting this idea forward, which is literally the mayor.
Well, the mayor was against it. I don't know who put it forward.
The mayor's son suggested it. She's the one who actually, or the mayor's son is the person who suggested it to her, and she's the one who actually brought this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the mayor.
I thought but they were the one that was against it, saying like this is stupid.
But they've gone as far as contacting a consulting agency about it even.
Jeez.
Yeah. But they talk about like a place to do burnouts and stuff like that specifically. And I remember when I was younger that burnout contests were a really big thing.
I remember those.
They were really quite popular, and they were all over the place, and that's a way less prevalent thing now. And I assume that that's a serious insurance liability for whatever reason.
Yeah, probably.
And so I feel like this, even if I thought that this would help, I don't think it will ever happen, because I think that the insurance liability that the city is taking upon themselves, most cities don't even want to build skate parks, for God's sakes.
Right. Like, how are they going to set this up? They're not just going to be like, put up a couple of cones at the end of the street and say, this is your safe spot.
Have at it.
Sign the waiver. Here's the sign that says we're not responsible. That's not how
they like.
You
they're
can't
build
do that.
a park because that's a fucking racetrack, and I can't imagine that Atlanta doesn't have one of those already.
Yeah, there's no way to do it in this day and age that if someone gets hurt, they're not just going to sue the city. We're in your safe spot. You gave this to us, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because we know how the story ends.
I can't imagine that a city would take on the liability that would create.
And they shouldn't have to.
No.
I mean, that's what the racetracks are for. That's what the sanctioning bodies are for.
Exactly.
That's why we have
That's what
them.
drag strips are for. That's what road course racing is for. Hell, that's even what autocross sanctioning bodies are for, is places to get people out and do that stuff and get it out of their system. And I understand that there are people out there who refuse to partake in those, or even do partake in that, but still want to do the other stuff too. And no matter how many outlets and how many safe spaces you give those people, they're still going to go out and they're going to do it.
Yes.
You're not going to stop them.
No, man.
So I don't know. I just don't see it working.
No, me neither. I mean, the outlets are there. I mean, just because the racetrack closed because of the pandemic isn't the reason this all started.
Right.
Yeah, that racetrack's been there forever.
It was an opportunity.
Yep.
So,
but you have to.
I mean, I think we did a car show.
We did. It was nice. I appreciate
Look at
it.
us.
This is nice. This is the highlight of our weeks.
Yeah, it's really sad. I just want things to be semi-normal again.
I just want to do race car things with my race car friends.
Yeah.
At the track.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Grid Life event coming up soon. I don't think I'm going to make it to this one, unfortunately.
Nope.
I think my dad's going to dominate my time. But I think I'm going to a swap meet that weekend, so at least we'll have something to talk about.
Nice. That's good.
So,
yeah,
see how that goes.
Hopefully we have some updates on my car, and hopefully it's nothing bad, but we'll find out one way or the other.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. See you next week.